Chosen one, pause for a moment, because something subtle yet powerful has just shifted in the unseen realm. The fact that you are hearing these words right now is not random timing. It is alignment. Heaven has a way of interrupting ordinary moments when a turning point has already begun unfolding. And anointed one, this moment carries that exact weight. For a long time, your path may have felt quiet, effort without recognition, preparation without visible reward. You kept moving forward while doors seemed distant and opportunities appeared just out of reach. But silence does not always mean delay. Sometimes silence is where heaven prepares the stage for something greater than what you could have forced on your own. There is a pattern written into life itself. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us that there is a time appointed for every purpose under heaven. And often that appointed time arrives suddenly disguised as an unexpected conversation, a new connection, or a powerful offer that appears when you least expect it. Chosen one, what is approaching you is not simply an opportunity. It is a moment that reveals how much preparation has already taken place within you. Someone with influence will recognize what others overlooked. A door will open that once seemed invisible. And the question will not be whether the door exists. The question will be whether you are ready to step through it. Chosen one, there is something you must understand about the way heaven moves. The moments that change the direction of a life rarely arrive with loud announcements. They, snorts, often appear quietly, almost hidden within ordinary days until suddenly everything shifts. One conversation, one introduction, one unexpected moment where someone looks at you differently than everyone else has. And in that moment, the path you thought you were walking begins to bend toward a completely new direction. Anointed one, what many people call luck is rarely luck at all. What appears to be a sudden breakthrough is often the visible result of years of invisible preparation that took place when no one was watching. Think about the seasons you walked through that felt slow, uncertain, even discouraging. There were days when you worked faithfully but felt overlooked, moments when it seemed like the doors around you stayed closed while others moved forward. You may have questioned whether your persistence mattered, whether your effort was even being noticed by anyone at all. But heaven has a different perspective on those seasons. What felt like delay was actually development. What felt like silence was preparation. And the truth is that the qualities built during those hidden years become the very reason a powerful opportunity eventually finds its way into your life. Chosen one, there is a reason influential people notice certain individuals in a room full of talent. It is not always the loudest voice or the most obvious skill that captures their attention. Those who carry true influence tend to watch quietly before they speak. They observe how people respond to pressure. They notice who remains steady when recognition is absent. They see who continues building, learning, and growing even when no reward is guaranteed. These patterns reveal something deeper than ability. They reveal character, and character is the currency that opens doors most people never even see. You may not realize it yet, but someone has been watching the pattern of your life more closely than you think, not in a suspicious way, but in a discerning way. They have noticed the consistency in how you carry yourself. They have seen how you respond when things do not go your way. They have watched how you handle responsibility even when the position itself did not appear glamorous. These details speak louder than resumes and louder than words. And at the right moment, those quiet observations lead to something powerful. An offer that feels larger than anything you expected. Now imagine this moment with me for a second. Anointed one. You are moving through a normal day focused on your responsibilities just like always. Perhaps you are still proving yourself. Perhaps you are still building something slowly while wondering when your opportunity will truly arrive. And then a conversation begins. At first it feels ordinary. Just another exchange of words, another introduction, another interaction that seems no different than the many you have had before. But slowly the tone shifts. You begin to realize the person speaking to you carries a level of influence you did not anticipate. Their questions are deeper than casual curiosity. Their interest in your journey feels intentional. Then something unexpected happens. They begin describing a possibility, not a small task, not a temporary opportunity, something larger, something that stretches far beyond the place you currently see yourself standing. And in that moment, your mind begins racing because the opportunity feels both exciting and overwhelming at the same time. Excitement whispers that this could be the breakthrough you have been waiting for. But another voice begins asking difficult questions. What if you are not ready? What if this opportunity exposes areas where you still feel uncertain chosen? 1. This internal conflict is more common than most people admit. In fact, many of the individuals who step into the greatest opportunities of their lives experience this exact moment of hesitation right before everything changes. It is a strange pattern in human nature. A person can spend years building strength, learning lessons through setbacks, and developing resilience through struggle. Yet when the moment of recognition finally arrives, doubt sometimes shows up first. That quiet voice asks whether you truly belong in the position that is now being offered to you. But here is something you must remember. When someone with real influence extends an opportunity, they are rarely looking only at what you can do today. They are looking at what you can become tomorrow. They are recognizing potential that may still feel unfamiliar, even to you. And sometimes that is exactly why the opportunity feels so intense, because it stretches beyond the version of yourself you have been used to seeing. The truth is that powerful opportunities are rarely designed to keep you comfortable. They are designed to grow you. They introduce new environments, new expectations, and new levels of responsibility that require a different version of the person you were yesterday. And this is where many people step back, not because they lack ability, but because the unfamiliar weight of the moment makes them question themselves. Yet the individuals who step forward during these moments understand something powerful. They realize that readiness does not always mean having every answer before you begin. Readiness often means being willing to learn, adapt, and rise through the process itself. Growth rarely happens inside the boundaries of comfort. It happens when someone decides that the opportunity in front of them is greater than the fear inside them. Chosen one. There is another layer to this moment that most people do not see. When an influential person offers you access to a greater opportunity, they are not simply handing you a position. They are placing a level of trust in you. They are saying in their own way that they believe you can grow into the responsibility being placed before you. That trust is not given lightly. It is built through patterns of behavior observed over time. Think about the challenges you faced that once felt unfair, the moments when you were underestimated or misunderstood, the seasons when progress seemed slower than you hoped. At the time, those experiences may have felt like obstacles blocking your path. But now, you can begin to see them from a different perspective. They were shaping your judgment, strengthening your patience, teaching you how to respond rather than react. These qualities are invisible to many people, but to someone who understands leadership, they stand out clearly. And that brings us back to the moment standing in front of you. Because an opportunity like this does not only ask you to do something new, it asks you to become someone new. It challenges the limits you previously placed on yourself. It invites you to step into a level of influence, responsibility, and stewardship that once felt distant from your reality. The question is no longer whether opportunities like this exist. They do. The real question becomes something much deeper. Do you see yourself as someone capable of carrying what is being placed in front of you? Or will the old version of your thinking convince you to step back from something that could transform the direction of your life? This is the moment where many destinies begin to unfold. And what happens next depends less on the size of the opportunity and more on the perspective you choose to carry as you step toward it. And there is something even more important happening beneath the surface of this moment of chosen one. What most people fail to realize is that the moment after a great opportunity appears can feel even more unsettling than the moment before it. Before the offer arrives, the mind is filled with anticipation. You imagine what could happen if the right door finally opened. You picture the breakthrough you have been waiting for. But when the door actually appears, when the offer becomes real instead of hypothetical, something inside you becomes very quiet. The imagination stops wandering, and reality begins asking deeper questions. This is the place where destiny becomes personal, the moment when the dream you once hoped for begins asking something back from you. You see, anointed. One opportunity is never just about receiving something greater. It is about becoming someone greater in the process. That is why the offer feels weighty. That is why your heart senses the seriousness of the moment. Because the path in front of you will not simply add comfort to your life. It will add responsibility. It will stretch your thinking. It will introduce environments that require new levels of awareness, discipline, and wisdom. This is the part many people do not talk about openly. They celebrate the promotion but rarely discuss the pressure that follows it. They admire the success but do not see the long nights of decision-making that come with leadership. They see the opportunity but overlook the transformation required to sustain it. But heaven understands this process deeply, and that is why preparation often happens long before the door appears. Chosen one, there is a reason the journey before the breakthrough was not easy. Those seasons were training your mind to carry greater things. When progress felt slow, patience was being developed within you. When distractions surrounded you, focus was being sharpened. When results were uncertain, perseverance was strengthening your spirit. None of those qualities appeared overnight. They were forged through experiences that tested your resolve and forced you to grow beyond the person you once were. And here is the beautiful truth. The same resilience that carried you through those difficult seasons is the exact strength that will guide you through the new responsibilities that are approaching. You were not enduring those challenges for no reason. They were preparing you to stand in rooms you once thought were beyond your reach. Think about it carefully, anointed one. How many people spend years wishing for opportunity, but never develop the habits necessary to carry it? They dream of recognition but avoid the discipline required to sustain influence. They desire advancement, but resist the discomfort of growth. But your journey has been different. Even when the reward was unclear, you continued moving forward. Even when the outcome was uncertain, you continued refining your craft. Even when no one applauded your progress, you kept building quietly. Those choices created something powerful, credibility. And credibility is something that people with real influence respect deeply. When someone who carries resources, authority, or vision begins looking for individuals to trust with greater responsibility, they do not simply search for talent. Talent can be found almost anywhere. What they truly seek is steadiness. Someone who does not collapse under pressure. Someone who remains thoughtful when challenges arise. Someone who understands that growth is a process, not an instant result. Chosen one. Those qualities have been forming inside you for longer than you realize. And now the moment has arrived where those qualities are being noticed. But here is the turning point. The opportunity itself will not automatically transform your life. The transformation happens through the decisions you make after the offer is placed in front of you. This is where mindset becomes everything. Some people will look at the size of the opportunity and immediately begin focusing on what could go wrong. They will imagine the risks, the responsibilities, and the unknown outcomes. They will convince themselves that they need more preparation or that someone else would be better suited for the role. But others will respond differently. They will feel the same uncertainty. But instead of retreating, they will ask a more powerful question. What kind of person could I become if I step into this moment with courage? That question changes everything, because stepping forward does not require perfect certainty. It requires willingness, willingness to grow, willingness to learn, willingness to rise beyond the version of yourself that once believed certain doors were not meant for you. Chosen one scripture reminds us of this principle in Ecclesiastes 3:1, which says that God makes everything beautiful in its time. Notice the wisdom in that statement. Timing matters. Preparation matters. And when the appointed moment arrives, the opportunity often appears in ways that seem sudden to everyone else. But heaven knows the truth. The moment was not sudden at all. It was prepared long ago through every lesson you learned, every setback that refined you, and every quiet decision you made to keep moving forward when quitting would have been easier. And now, anointed one, you stand at the edge of a new chapter. The offer is not just an invitation to do more. It is an invitation to become more. To walk into environments that will expand your understanding of what is possible. To carry influence that allows you to create impact beyond your own life. But there is still one more layer of this moment that must be understood, because the opportunity that is approaching you is not only about advancement, it is also about assignment, a chosen one. When heaven allows a door like this to appear in your life, it is never only about elevation. It is about alignment. Many people see opportunity as a ladder to climb a way to move higher than where they once stood. But heaven often sees opportunity as a responsibility to carry a stewardship, an assignment that requires wisdom as much as ambition. This is why the moment feels sacred, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. Because the offer approaching you is not simply about changing your position. It is about positioning you for influence that reaches further than your own life. The resources, the access, the connections, the new environments, all of these things are tools, and tools are only powerful in the hands of someone who understands their purpose. Anointed one. This is why your journey could not unfold the way you once imagined. If the doors had opened earlier before your character was strengthened, the pressure would have been overwhelming. If the recognition had come before the lessons were learned, the responsibility might have crushed you instead of elevating you. But heaven prepares vessels before it pours new oil into them. You may remember seasons when life felt like a wilderness. Times when you were working, building, learning, yet nothing seemed to move forward as quickly as you hoped. It felt like walking through a desert where progress was measured in small steps rather than sudden leaps. Yet, the wilderness has always been one of heaven's favorite classrooms. Moses was shaped there. David was refined there. Even Jesus was led into the wilderness before stepping into the fullness of his assignment. The wilderness strips away distractions. It reveals what truly lives inside a person. It forces you to develop faith when there is no immediate reward. And in those quiet places, something powerful happens. Clarity begins to form. Chosen one. Many of the habits that now define your mindset were born during those seasons of solitude and pressure. You learned how to keep going without applause. You learned how to remain disciplined even when motivation faded. You learned how to carry responsibility even when no one was watching. Those lessons were not wasted. They were preparing you to handle environments where the stakes are higher, where the decisions carry greater impact, and where influence flows through your actions in ways you cannot fully see yet. Because when someone with authority or resources extends an opportunity, they are not simply inviting you to participate in something. They are inviting you into a sphere of influence. And influence changes everything. Influence allows ideas to become reality. Influence allows resources to reach people who need them. Influence allows vision to expand beyond imagination. But influence also tests a person. It tests whether success will make you forget the values that shaped you. It tests whether new environments will distract you from your purpose. It tests whether recognition will alter your humility. Chosen one. The opportunity approaching your life will bring with it new voices, new conversations, and new expectations. Rooms where decisions are made. Tables where strategy is discussed. Moments where people will look to you for insight and direction. And this can feel overwhelming if you only look at the surface of the opportunity. But when you understand the deeper assignment, something inside you becomes calm because you begin to see that this moment was never random. It is the result of alignment between preparation and timing. Scripture reminds us of this truth in Habakkuk 2-3, where it says that the vision waits for the appointed time. Though it may seem slow in coming, it will surely arrive and will not delay. Chosen one. Many people misunderstand that passage. They believe delay means denial. They assume that if something does not happen quickly, it must not be meant for them. But heaven measures time differently than human expectations. What appears slow to the outside world may actually be perfect timing in the spiritual realm. The delay was not preventing the vision. The delay was preparing the vessel that would carry the vision, and that vessel is you. Think about the growth that has taken place within you over the last few years. Your perspective is different now. The way you approach challenges has matured. The way you make decisions carries more awareness than before. Even your patience has deepened. These changes did not happen overnight. They were shaped through countless moments that seemed insignificant at the time. Yet together they form the foundation of the person you are becoming. And now that foundation is about to support something greater. But here is where another decision appears. Because the moment of opportunity will not only ask you whether you are capable, it will ask whether you are willing. Willing to step beyond the comfort of the identity you once held. Willing to embrace environments that require a stronger version of you. Willing to carry influence without allowing it to change the integrity that brought you here. Chosen. 1. Stepping into a new season requires letting go of the belief that you must remain the person you used to be. Growth requires expansion, and expansion often begins with one courageous decision to say yes to the path unfolding in front of you. But there is still something deeper happening behind the scenes of this moment, something that explains why this opportunity is arriving now and not years earlier. And when you understand that final layer, Anointed One, you will see why this offer is not just a change in direction. It is the beginning of a divine shift, Chosen One. There is a reason this moment is unfolding now and not earlier in your life. Timing in the hands of heaven is never careless. What appears sudden to human eyes is often the result of movements that have been forming quietly for years behind the scenes. Doors do not simply appear out of nowhere. Conversations do not align by accident. The people who cross your path at the right moment are often part of a sequence that was set in motion long before you recognized its meaning. This is the divine shift that many people overlook. They assume opportunity is the result of chance encounters or fortunate timing. But heaven works through alignment. People, places, and possibilities begin moving toward each other until the moment arrives where everything intersects at once. And when that intersection appears, it often feels almost surreal, as though events are unfolding faster than expected. Anointed One. This is what happens when preparation and timing finally meet. The years when nothing seemed to move quickly suddenly make sense. The lessons you once questioned reveal their purpose. The patience you were forced to develop becomes the very quality that allows you to navigate the new level in front of you. Because when heaven begins opening doors, it does not only change your circumstances, it expands your environment. You may find yourself entering conversations that once felt far beyond your reach, sitting at tables where ideas are discussed that carry influence and consequence, interacting with individuals whose decisions shape businesses, communities, or opportunities for many others. This transition can feel overwhelming at first, not because you are incapable, but because your mind is adjusting to the realization that you now belong in spaces that once seemed distant. That adjustment takes time. Even the most capable individuals experience moments where they pause and wonder whether they truly fit within the new environment unfolding around them. But this is where understanding becomes important. Chosen One. The reason the door has opened is not because you suddenly became someone new overnight. The door opened because the person you have been becoming for years is finally ready to walk through it. Think about how a seed grows beneath the soil. For a long time, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. Someone looking at the ground might assume the seed has done nothing at all. But beneath the soil, roots are forming. Strength is developing in places that cannot yet be seen. And when the time is right, the seed breaks through the surface with a force that seems sudden to everyone watching. Yet the growth was happening all along. Your life has been unfolding in the same way. There were seasons where it felt like you were buried beneath pressure, responsibility, and uncertainty. It felt like you were doing everything possible to grow. Yet nothing visible was happening around you. But beneath the surface, something important was taking place. Your judgment was developing. Your discipline was strengthening. Your resilience was forming roots deep enough to sustain greater influence. Now the surface is beginning to break, and what emerges from the soil is stronger than anyone expected. Anointed One. There is another reason heaven sometimes introduces opportunity through influential individuals rather than through random events. Influence carries acceleration. When someone who holds authority or resources recognizes potential, they can open pathways that would have taken years to discover alone. But that acceleration also requires wisdom, because with greater access comes greater responsibility. Decisions carry more weight. Actions create wider ripples, and the environment around you begins responding differently to your presence. This is where the lessons from your earlier seasons become invaluable. You learned how to listen carefully before reacting. You learned how to stay grounded when emotions were high. You learned how to keep moving forward even when results were uncertain. Those qualities will guide you now more than ever. Scripture reflects this kind of transition in Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Notice that the verse begins with a command to rise. Rising is an action. It requires movement. It requires a willingness to stand when the moment arrives. Chosen one rising does not mean you suddenly feel fearless. It means you recognize that the opportunity in front of you is greater than the doubts trying to hold you back. Many people wait for confidence to arrive before they move forward, but confidence often grows after the first step, not before it. The first step simply requires trust. Trust in the preparation that has already taken place within you. Trust in the timing that brought this moment into your life. Trust that the opportunity appearing now is not random but purposeful. And once that first step is taken, something remarkable begins to happen. Your perspective begins to shift. What once felt intimidating slowly starts to feel expansive, a doorway into new experiences, meaningful relationships, and deeper understanding that will shape the next chapter of your life. But even as this path begins to open, there is one final truth to recognize. The offer coming toward you will not only change your direction, it will reveal something about your identity that you may not have fully recognized until now. And if messages like this are strengthening your journey, know that your quiet support helps this channel continue sharing encouragement and insight with others who need it. You'll find a simple way to support in the comments, because sometimes the next door opens not just for one person, but for everyone willing to rise when the moment calls, or chosen one. The opportunity that is approaching your life is not simply about a new role, a new connection, or even a new level of provision. At its deepest level, it is about identity. Because every time heaven opens a door that shifts the direction of a life, it reveals something about the person who is stepping through it. It reveals who they truly are becoming. For many people, identity is shaped by their past, by the environments they grew up in, by the expectations others placed upon them, by the mistakes they made or the limitations they were told to accept. Over time, those experiences create a quiet narrative inside the mind about what a person believes they are capable of achieving. But anointed one divine moments have a way of interrupting that narrative. When a powerful opportunity appears, it forces you to reconsider the story you have been telling yourself about your own potential. It challenges the version of yourself that once believed certain rooms were not meant for you. It asks you to see your life not through the lens of where you started, but through the lens of where heaven is guiding you. And this is where transformation begins. Because the greatest shift that occurs during seasons of elevation is not external, it is internal. You begin to realize that the discipline you practiced during quiet seasons was shaping your authority. The patience you developed during long periods of waiting was preparing your judgment. The resilience you built through adversity was strengthening your leadership. What once felt like survival was actually preparation. Chosen. 1. Think about the people throughout history who stepped into moments that changed the course of their lives. Many of them did not initially feel ready. They did not feel perfectly equipped. They did not feel certain that they belonged in the position they were about to enter. Yet something within them recognized the call to rise. Scripture reflects this truth in Jeremiah 1-5, where God speaks to Jeremiah before his life had even fully unfolded. Before I formed you. In the womb I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Notice the power of that declaration. The assignment existed before the individual fully understood it. And that same principle is unfolding within your life. Now the path you are stepping into was not designed yesterday. It has been forming across the seasons of your journey, shaped by experiences that sometimes felt confusing at the time. Every lesson, every delay, every moment that forced you to grow was adding another layer to the person you are becoming. Now the world around you is beginning to recognize what heaven has been developing quietly all along. But identity shifts rarely happen without resistance. When a person begins stepping into greater influence or opportunity, old beliefs often try to resurface. Doubts may whisper that you are not prepared enough, that someone else might be more qualified, that perhaps the offer appearing before you is larger than what you can carry. These voices are familiar because they echo the mindset of the past, yet they do not reflect the truth of who you are becoming. Chosen. 1. The identity required for the next season of your life will not be built on insecurity. It will be built on clarity, a deep understanding that the same strength which carried you through earlier seasons still lives within you now. You have already overcome obstacles that once seemed impossible. You have already adapted to situations that once felt overwhelming. The wisdom gained through those experiences did not disappear. It became part of the foundation that supports you today. That foundation is stronger than you realize. And the opportunity approaching your life is not appearing because someone made a random decision. It is appearing because the person you have become is capable of carrying it. This is why heaven often waits until the right moment to reveal certain doors. The person stepping through them must be ready not only in skill but in spirit. They must understand that influence is not about personal glory, but about stewardship. That resources are not simply rewards but responsibilities. That success is not only measured by achievement, but by the impact it creates in the lives of others. Chosen one. The offer coming toward you carries that kind of potential. It may expand your environment. It may introduce you to networks and conversations you once only observed from a distance. It may bring provision that allows you to build, invest, and create opportunities not only for yourself, but for others as well. But the greatest transformation will not be what happens around you. It will be what happens within you. Because when identity aligns with purpose, something powerful occurs. You begin to walk differently. You begin to speak with greater clarity. You begin to make decisions from a place of vision rather than hesitation. And people notice not because you are trying to impress them, but because confidence rooted in purpose carries a presence that cannot easily be ignored. Yet there is still one more part of this moment that must be understood. Anointed one. Because the offer that is approaching you will not simply confirm your identity. It will also reveal the responsibility that comes with it. Chosen one, when opportunity begins to expand your life in ways you did not expect, responsibility expands with it. This is the part of elevation that many people overlook. They see the door opening. They see the resources beginning to move. They see the influence increasing. But they do not always see the deeper weight that accompanies those changes. Yet heaven never releases greater influence without first preparing the heart to carry it. Anointed one. The responsibility attached to this new season is not meant to burden you. It is meant to refine you. Because true elevation is not measured by how much you gain, but by how faithfully you steward what has been placed in your hands. There is a powerful truth hidden within this moment. The offer that is approaching you may appear on the surface like a professional opportunity, a financial breakthrough, or a sudden connection with someone who holds influence. But beneath the surface, it is something far deeper than that. It is an invitation to step into stewardship. Stewardship means recognizing that the resources, the access, and the influence that begin to flow into your life are not random privileges. They are tools entrusted to you for a greater purpose. Scripture reflects this principle clearly in Luke 12:48. To whom much is given, much will be required. Notice that this statement is not meant as a warning. It is a revelation. It reveals that heaven places greater trust in those who have demonstrated faithfulness in earlier seasons. Chosen one. The reason this moment is arriving now is because your earlier seasons proved something about your character. When you had little recognition, you still showed integrity. When progress felt slow, you still remained consistent. When opportunities seemed distant, you continued building quietly. Those patterns formed trust, and trust is the foundation of responsibility. Now, the environment around you will begin to shift. Conversations may become more strategic. People may begin asking for your perspective on decisions that affect more than just your own life. Situations may arise where your judgment carries real impact. At first, this can feel intimidating. But remember, something important responsibility does not mean you must have every answer immediately. It means you have the willingness to grow into the answers as the journey unfolds. Many of the individuals who carry great influence today did not begin their journey with perfect certainty. They began with humility, curiosity, and a commitment to learn. They listened carefully. They observed the dynamics of the rooms they entered. They asked questions and refined their understanding over time. And slowly, wisdom developed. Chosen. One wisdom grows through experience, through moments where decisions must be made with courage rather than comfort, through situations where leadership requires both strength and compassion at the same time. This is why heaven often introduces opportunity through people, rather than simply through events. Relationships reveal character more clearly than circumstances ever could. When someone invites you into a position of influence, they are not only offering access, they are offering trust. And trust must be honored, anointed one. Honoring that trust means remaining grounded in the values that shaped your earlier seasons, the discipline that helped you stay focused, the humility that kept you teachable, the patience that allowed you to move forward even when progress was slow. These qualities will guide you more than talent ever could, because talent can open a door, but character determines how long that door remains open. The environments you're about to enter will contain individuals with strong opinions, powerful personalities, and complex dynamics. Some conversations will require careful listening before responding. Some decisions will demand courage even when the outcome is uncertain. But remember this: the same resilience that carried you through your earlier challenges is still within you. You have already navigated situations where the path forward was unclear. You have already endured seasons that required strength and patience. Those experiences did not weaken you. They strengthened your ability to stand steady when circumstances shift. Chosen one. This is why the opportunity approaching your life is not random. It is a continuation of the journey that has been shaping you all along. What once felt like preparation is now becoming application. What once felt like growth in private is now becoming influence in public. And the resources that may begin to flow into your life during this season are not meant to isolate you from others. They are meant to expand your ability to serve, build, and create impact in ways that were not possible before. Because true wealth, both spiritual and material, is most powerful when it flows outward rather than remaining stagnant. You will find that the more faithfully you steward the opportunities placed before you, the more pathways begin to open around you. Not because you're chasing success, but because alignment with purpose creates momentum that others naturally recognize. And that momentum is only the beginning, because the offer that is approaching you will not simply place you into a new position of responsibility. It will also introduce you to a level of provision and possibility that you may not have fully imagined yet. Unchosen. 1. When heaven begins to shift the direction of your life, provision often follows responsibility. Many people misunderstand this sequence. They assume that resources appear first and purpose follows later. But heaven rarely works that way. Purpose is revealed, responsibility is accepted, and then provision begins to flow in ways that make the assignment possible. This is why the opportunity approaching your life is not just about position. It is about alignment with a larger flow that has already begun moving behind the scenes. Anointed one. The resources connected to this next chapter may not arrive all at once. Sometimes provision begins quietly. A connection leads to another conversation. A conversation opens the door to an idea. An idea introduces you to an environment where possibilities expand beyond what you previously imagined. But as these pieces begin to align, something important must remain clear in your heart. Provision is not meant to replace purpose. It is meant to support it. There are people who spend their lives chasing wealth without understanding why they want it. They see resources as a destination rather than a tool, yet true abundance becomes meaningful only when it is connected to vision. When resources allow you to build something that outlives a single moment, chosen one, the opportunity that is coming toward you carries that kind of potential. It may introduce financial growth. It may expand your network of relationships. It may give you access to ideas and environments that accelerate your ability to create impact. But none of these things are meant to distract you from the deeper assignment. They are meant to equip you for it. Scripture reminds us of this principle in Deuteronomy 8:18. Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Notice the wording carefully. It does not say wealth simply appears without purpose. It says the ability to produce it is given. That ability includes wisdom, discipline, creativity, and discernment. These qualities are already growing inside you, chosen. Think about how your perspective on opportunity has evolved over time. Years ago, you may have seen success primarily as personal advancement, a way to escape struggle or to achieve recognition. But the experiences you have walked through have reshaped that understanding. You now recognize that influence carries responsibility, that financial growth can become a channel for helping others, that opportunities are not only doors for personal progress, but platforms for wider impact. This shift in perspective is one of the clearest signs that you're ready for the season approaching you, because the individuals who carry the greatest levels of influence are often those who understand that success is not only about what you receive, it is about what flows through you. Anointed 1. The provision connected to your next season may allow you to invest in ideas that once seemed impossible. It may allow you to support people whose potential has not yet been recognized. It may give you the ability to create environments where others can grow, build, and succeed. This is the kind of wealth that multiplies impact. And heaven often places that kind of opportunity into the hands of those who have demonstrated humility during earlier seasons. You may remember moments when your resources were limited, when you had to be thoughtful with every decision you made, when generosity required sacrifice rather than convenience. Those seasons were shaping your perspective, because when provision begins to increase, the mindset formed during seasons of scarcity often determines how wisely those resources are used. Chosen one. The next chapter of your journey will not simply test your ambition. It will test your alignment, your ability to remain focused on purpose, even as new possibilities unfold around you. There may be distractions along the way, opportunities that appear attractive but do not truly align with your deeper calling. Conversations that seem promising but lead away from the path heaven intended for you. Discernment will become one of your greatest strengths during this season. Discernment allows you to recognize which doors are meant for you and which ones are simply passing invitations. It allows you to see beyond immediate gain and evaluate long-term impact. And that kind of clarity is rare, but you have been developing it through the experiences you already walked through. Chosen one's provision begins to move into your life. Remember something important. Wealth is not the destination. Purpose is. Resources amplify what already exists within a person's heart. When someone carries vision, resources expand that vision. When someone carries compassion, resources multiply that compassion. And when someone carries wisdom, resources become instruments for lasting impact. This is why the opportunity approaching you is not merely about advancement. It is about positioning you in environments where your ideas matter, positioning you in conversations where your insight carries weight, positioning you in moments where the decisions you make can shape outcomes far beyond your own life. But before this new chapter fully unfolds, there is one final realization that must settle in your spirit. Because the offer that is coming toward you will not only change your direction, it will also reveal the full measure of the person you were always meant to become. Chosen one. As this moment approaches, there is a final truth you must carry in your spirit. The offer that is coming toward you will not simply redirect your path. It will reveal the person you have been becoming through every season of your journey. Sometimes the greatest revelation of opportunity is not what it gives you, but what it awakens inside you. Because when a person steps into a moment prepared by heaven, they begin to see themselves differently. The doubts that once seemed convincing start losing their power. The limitations that once defined your expectations begin to dissolve. And you realize that the path you have walked, every delay, every lesson, every quiet season was shaping you for this exact point in time. Powerful about the moment when preparation meets revelation. It is the moment when you recognize that you are no longer standing in the same place you once were. You have grown in ways that were not always obvious while they were happening. Your judgment has matured. Your patience has deepened. Your understanding of purpose has expanded beyond what you once imagined. This realization changes the way you approach